Ian Garry's in such a weird position right now with the UFC fan base. Like, a lot of people hate him. But at the same time, now a lot of people are starting to back him against Shavkat Rachmanov. And look, there's good qualities when it comes to Ian Garry. He's probably one of the best strikers in the welterweight division at the moment. And just look, he's entertaining to watch. I mean, the way he uses his striking is so elegant to see. He's very smooth with his punches, his kicks, the whole shebang. But at the same time, the biggest flaw with Ian Garry is his own personality. And not even that, it's also all the shenanigans that happens behind the scenes with Ian Garry. Look, I mean, this guy came in knocking dudes out, piecing dudes up, and talking a lot of shit and backing it. And it looked good. He looked upon as the chosen one, the golden boy of the Irish community. But dude, after all the shenanigans that came out about it, that MMA guru exposed about his dietitian and his chef being his girlfriend's ex-husband and that being his kid, like, people just did not look at Ian Garry the same. Nobody did. And when he got exposed about that, and a lot of people were roasting him about it, he was just not having it. You can tell he was very upset, very emotional about the whole situation. And he had to pull out of his last fight last year in the Leon Edwards-Colby Covington card because he got sick and he did not appear at the press conference. And a lot of people were pissed at him about that. And afterwards, when we saw Ian Garry again, it was this whole shenanigans about him saying that bullying is not okay. People shouldn't say things like that about him or his wife, and that's not okay, and it's not acceptable. But yet Ian Garry, on his come up, was when he fought Jeff Neal, he had a mugshot of Jeff Neal on his shirt and was roasting Jeff Neal, coming at him about his whole life. Like, that's crazy. And the same thing with Neil Magny when he fought Neil Magny, how awkward it was, saying how something about Neil Magny's kid, saying he beats his kids along those lines. Allegedly, that's what he was saying. I'm not trying to get sued, people, but it just didn't look good, and nobody liked that about Ian Garry. It just made such an ugly thing about it. And the worst part was Ian Garry could have taken a complete advantage of that and became this sought-out big heel of the UFC because nobody liked him at that point, but he still kept on trying to be this babyface and portray himself as, you know, the goody two-shoes of the UFC, the guy that's standing up against bullying. But ever since he took this fight against Shavkat in short notice, we're really starting to see Ian Garry gain some respect from the fan base. Not as much as people would think, but you can tell those people that were roasting him, calling him a cuck and all this shit, they're now starting to back him because the kid's got some balls in him to step up against probably the boogeyman of the welterweight division in Shavkat Rachmanov. So it's kind of a weird dynamic with Ian right now because you could tell people that are still shitting on him, but at the same time, in the back of their mind, they're like, yo, this kid's got some balls in him to just pick up this fight in short notice and try to beat Shavkat Rachmanov in this 5-round fight. And look, if he beats Shavkat Rachmanov, that is huge for him. The way people will start to back him and the narrative spinning about him being this supposed cuck might turn around if he beats probably the biggest and baddest man in the welterweight division. Don't mind the glazing. I know Bilal's champ, but at the end of the day, nobody wanted to fight Shavkat. But this could be a good sign for Ian Garry. And at the same time, I'm thinking about it. Look, Ian Garry wins. He gets a title shot. Nobody likes Bilal. A lot of people will start to back Ian Garry because Bilal is a boring-ass fighter. A lot of people look at him like a crybaby. He is not entertaining in the slightest when it comes to the general UFC audience. Nobody really likes Bilal. So I think if he were to beat Shavkat, people will start to get behind him and want him to be UFC champion, which is crazy to think. And if that happens, dude, that has to be one of the biggest comebacks in 2025 that I've ever seen because people despise Ian Garry. But look, what I saw from Ian Garry, the tenacity that he showed in his interview, saying how badly he wants to fight Shavkat, how badly he wanted to take this fight, kind of gave me flashes of Israel Adesanya. Because Israel Adesanya on his come up, you know, he wanted to fight everybody under the sun. like that run that he had in 2018 to 2019 for the title, where he fought Kelvin Gastelum and then he fought Robert Whittaker and he fought all these killers. Like, he just wanted to build himself his legacy. That's what got me behind Israel Adesanya. And seeing this from Ian Garry is a good thing. And even Israel Adesanya mentioned it, that he kind of reminds him of him. And look, I understand Ian Garry's antics about the shenanigans he pulls with him and his wife and how cringy all that crap is at times. But, like, I can't deny the guy's work ethic in the octagon, and as shitty as his mic skills are at times, like, I can't deny that. Like, the guy's pretty good in the octagon. But this could be huge for him. And if he pulls this off, good for him, man. And look, I'm not saying I'm rooting for Ian Garry on the weekend. I honestly don't know. I'm kind of bagging Shavkat, to be honest. I think people are underestimating Shavkat. And I know that's hard to believe because, you know, a lot of fans are saying how he's the chosen one. He's the next big thing in the welterweight division. He could smoke Bilal Muhammad. But these last 2 days, everyone has been talking about Ian Garry. And in the weigh-in today, we saw how it looked like Shavkat Rakhmonov, how Ian Garry got into Shavkat Rakhmonov's head, and they were butting heads and doing all these antics. It looked like that happened. I just don't see Ian Garry beating Shavkat Rakhmonov in 25 minutes. I just don't. If it was a 3-round fight, we could possibly see Ian Garry pull like a breeze through a decision. But I just think he's not going to be able to just deal with Shavkat in 25 minutes. And to be honest, I think Shavkat Rakhmonov will probably submit him in the 4th round. But look, Ian Garry, man, if he pulls it off, this could be big for him. But if Shavkat Rakhmonov wins, I am not going to be mad about it. I mean, the dude's a full-blown assassin, and I'm here backing Shavkat Rakhmonov. But look, overall, UFC 310 is going to be an exciting card. I think there's a lot of close fights in this card, a lot of fights that we are underestimating at the same time. And look, I could dive into those. I'm not gonna. I might just touch up a little bit on the main event, and that's about it. And look, you know what? Scrap that. We're not going to talk about the main event. We might make its own video. Maybe. No promises, chat. Anyways, people, I'm back in Shavkat Rakhmonov. Is Ian Garry going to pull off the biggest comeback of 2025? Y'all let me know in the comments below. Anyways, people, good game, boys. Catch you later. Deuces. I'm out.